Hi guys, welcome back to part 2 of tanking my garage. Today I'm going to be doing the second coat of tanking Slurry. If you haven't already, go back and watch part 1 of tanking. This is the first coat where it was slapped on in every nook and cranny just with a paintbrush, and then I smoothed it off horizontally to sort of create a bit of a scratch coat, which I'll zoom in for you now so you can see. Paintbrush bristles lines are going that way because I smoothed it off like that to create these little sort of ridges. So the idea is now if I put it on and do it vertically, then it's gonna sit in these ridges like a scratch coat and have something to adhere to. You only need 2 coats and then hopefully I'll be damp proof. It's looking good already, to be fair. It's been quite a rainy couple of days and normally I'd be getting damp in patches of the wall, and so far nothing's really coming through apart from a little bit down here, which I'll show you. Obviously you can see it's thinner in some places than others when it's cured, which is why you do the second coat. But overall no damp's coming through except for the tiniest bit down here, which you can see the damp proof membranes like there. So I think that's the culprit. So I'll do the second coat and perhaps when I come and damp proof the floor, that'll solve that bit there, but at least it's not rising up. So yeah, fingers crossed it's working. It's easy enough to apply. Let's mix the second half and get tanking. So same concept as before. You want PPE on for the dust. It's half of this bucket that's left. So I've already put 3 litres of water in the mixing bucket. The rest of that can go into there, be mixed up, but then you've got half an hour to work with it and get it on the wall. So once you start mixing, you're on the clock. So you just mix it gradually rather than all at once. Well, I haven't quite mixed it all because it's getting quite thick there. And obviously if it's too thick, it's hard to apply. No lumps because it was done gradually. So now you literally just wet the wall. Just use garden sprayer just to dampen your wall first, and then you can just brush it on with a paintbrush. Some people do the second coat with a trowel to get a nice smooth finish, but it's just the garage, I'm not bothered about that. So I'm just going to use the paintbrush for my second coat. Like before, I'll transfer some into a littler bucket so it's easier to take up the ladder. Wet the wall. Nice thick block brush. And then just slap it on, but this time the finish will be horizontal. No, vertical. Spread it in the brush. So you can see the before, how there's still sort of the gaps where the mortar is in between the bricks, and then after you can see how doing your coat the other way, it's filled in, so that's like flush now, if that makes sense. So the second coat is essentially filling in the gaps, which I imagine avoids damp penetrating through. And while the time lapse plays, I'd like to take this opportunity to kindly ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. It costs you absolutely nothing to do that, and it really helps out the channel so I can keep making content going forward. So that's the second coat all done on the back wall, which was the main damp, well, the only damp wall really, but happy with that and happy with the coverage. So instead of doing a second coat over on that wall, I just did a first coat on this wall, and then all of this section beyond the breeze block pillars all sort of matching, and everything's used up. So it's been a few days now. The second coat's now completely cured. There's no damp at all coming through, and that one patch that was down on the floor is completely dry now, which is really, really great news. It's worked an absolute treat. I love how it's dried. I love the white colour. It's completely brightened up the garage. And if I zoom in close here, you can see that because of going vertically with the second coat, you can see now how the lines go downward. But yeah, as I was trying to explain, when during it, where that would normally be dipped quite in on the mortar line, it's now quite smooth. If you compare it to this wall that's only got one coat, you can see how the grooves between the bricks are still quite prominent, whereas with two coats it's filled in quite nicely. So yeah, no damp is penetrating through at all. And to be honest, because I had 2 buckets of it, I'm just going to bring the rest down the rest of the walls in the garage, because it isn't going to harm matters. I won't film doing that as there's only so much tanking you can watch, so I'll just crack on with that and then catch back up with you when I progress further in organising and, you know, setting up the garage. So overall, quite the success. No more damp. Obviously that wall was the only wall that I was getting damp from anyway, but as I've got materials left over, I'm just going to bring down a first, if not a second coat, throughout the whole of the garage, and it's all the same colour, and all at less risk of getting damp in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.